When America entered World War II, soldiers needed more than rifles. They needed close combat tools that could save their lives in the dark, in the jungle, or face-to-face with the enemy. Here are 9 combat knives that American forces carried into battle. The K-bar fighting utility knife became the most famous American blade of the war. The Marine Corps adopted it in November 1942 after complaints about old World War I trench knives that broke too easily. The K-bar had a 7-inch clip-point blade made from 1095 carbon steel with a stacked leather handle that gave you a solid grip even when wet. It weighed about 11 ounces and measured 11 inches overall. What made it special was that it worked for everything. Marines used it to open ammo crates, cut through jungle vines, dig foxholes, and yes, fight when they had to. Several companies made them during the war, but Union Cutlery's trademark K-bar became the name everyone used. By 1944, over 1 million were in service. The M3 trench knife was the Army's answer to needing a pure fighting blade that didn't waste metal. It arrived in March 1943 with a 6.75-inch bayonet-style blade, double-edged with a sharp tip designed for one thing: stabbing. The blade had a small secondary edge about 3.5 inches long and was either blued or parkerized. The handle was stacked leather washers turned on a lathe, and the steel crossguard had an angular bend where your thumb rested. It weighed less than the K-bar, at around 8 ounces. Paratroopers and Rangers got them first, and some learned to throw them, but troops complained the blade was too narrow for opening cans or prying things, and that secondary edge was too short for good slashing. Over 2.5 million were made before production stopped in August 1944. The Fairbairn-Sykes fighting knife wasn't American, it was British, but US forces used it extensively. The OSS, Army Rangers, and Marine Raiders all carried it. 2 British officers designed it in 1940 based on their years fighting criminals in Shanghai. It had a slim, double-edged blade about 7 inches long that tapered to a needle-sharp point. The whole knife was built for silence, for getting in close and ending things fast without firing a shot. The handle was either brass or wood with a foil grip design that let you hold it multiple ways. It weighed only 11 ounces and felt perfectly balanced in your hand. The blade could slip between ribs easily, which was exactly what commandos needed for sentry removal and night raids. The Mark I trench knife was a World War I design that troops still carried in 1942 and 1943. It had a 6.75-inch double-edged dagger blade and a cast bronze handle with finger holes built right in, like brass knuckles. The whole thing was blackened, blade and handle both. Those finger spikes on the knuckle bow were meant to keep an enemy from grabbing your hand and to give you a concentrated striking surface if you punched someone. The blade came from a French design called Le Vengeur, but soldiers found problems with it. The large handle limited how you could grip it, the blade junction was weak and prone to snapping, and it was expensive to produce because of all that bronze. Still, thousands went to airborne troops and Rangers early in the war before better designs replaced it. The Marine Raider stiletto was one of the rarest American knives of the war. Only 14,370 were made by Camillus Cutlery starting in 1942. Lieutenant Colonel Clifford Shuey designed it based on the Fairbairn-Sykes, with a thin diamond-shaped blade about 7 inches long etched with the USMC scroll. The handle was die-cast zinc aluminum alloy formed right onto the blade tang with an oval guard. It weighed just half a pound. The problem was that zinc alloy. Over time, the zinc ions leached out and the handles became brittle, cracking or flaking apart. Today, more than half of surviving examples have damaged handles. Marines also found the blade too delicate for utility work, and orders specifically said never throw it because the tip would break. By late 1943, the Raiders switched to K-bars and never looked back. The V-42 stiletto belonged exclusively to the 1st Special Force, the joint American-Canadian unit called the Devil's Brigade. Colonel Robert Frederick and his officers designed it in 1942, wanting something deadlier than what was available. Case Cutlery made only about 3,440 of them. The blade was 7.25 inches of double hollow ground steel with a thumb groove at the ricasso to help you align it for thrusting. The leather handle had grooves for grip, and the pommel came to a point they called the skull crusher. The whole knife was 12.5 inches long and weighed 7 ounces. That narrow blade could punch straight through a steel helmet and liner in one thrust. but it was fragile for anything except fighting. Use it to pry open a crate and you risked snapping that thin tip. The V-42 became part of the unit's insignia and remains a symbol of special forces to this day. The Navy Mark I utility knife was designed specifically for sailors working aboard ships. Colonial Knife Company and other manufacturers produced them starting in 1942. It had a 5-inch clip-point blade made from 1075 high-carbon steel with a black oxide finish to prevent glare. The handle was molded black tenite plastic, the same polymer used throughout the war, with a plastic or aluminum pommel cap. Total length was about 10.25 inches and weighed under 5 ounces, lighter than most combat knives. Sailors used it for everything from cutting rope and opening crates to emergency medical work, since you could boil the handle to sterilize it. Some saw combat with naval aviators, but most stayed aboard ship doing daily utility tasks. The Navy later adopted the K-bar when they had blade failure problems with early Mark I production. The Randall Model 1 all-purpose fighter was never an official issue, but thousands of soldiers bought them privately and took them to war. Bo Randall started making them in 1942 in Orlando, Florida, after a Navy officer requested a combat knife. The blade was typically 7 or 8 inches with a clip point and a false edge running 2 inches back from the tip. Brass double hilt, stacked leather handle, and an aluminum butt cap. It weighed about 8 ounces depending on blade length. Demand got so crazy that soldiers addressed letters to Knife Man Orlando, Florida, and they'd reach Randall. When he couldn't keep up, the Northampton Cutlery Company in Springfield, Massachusetts, made about 1,200 more under contract. Veterans said the Randall would cut through anything and stay sharp, handling both combat and utility work without complaint. Today, they're among the most valuable and collectible World War II knives. The Mark I from World War I served again in limited numbers during World War II. Some troops inherited their father's knives or found them in supply depots. These older trench knives had triangular stiletto blades about 9 inches long, wooden handles, metal knuckle guards, and rounded pommels. Companies like Henry Diston and Landers Frary Clark had made them during the First World War. The triangular blade was designed purely for stabbing in trench warfare and had no cutting edges, making it useless for any utility task. The blades broke easily when soldiers tried using them as tools. By 1918, the Army already knew they needed something better, but these knives remained in storage for decades. When World War II started and better knives weren't available yet, some of these old weapons got issued to troops heading overseas, usually as a last resort until proper combat knives arrived. These 9 knives tell the story of American combat blades in World War II. Some became legends, others barely lasted through the war, but all of them served when it mattered most.